Good morning class 12th students. So this is your subject physics, chapter number 10, that is wave optics, and in this lecture I'll be discussing all the difficult questions of your NCERT of chapter number 10. Okay, so some questions were already discussed, so I'll be discussing the left out questions. So the first question is question number 10. So the question says, estimate the distance for which ray optics is good approximation for an aperture of 4 millimeters and wavelength of 400 nanometers. So wavelength is given to be 400 nanometers, or you can write it as 400 into 10 to the power minus 9 meters, because 1 nanometer has 10 to the power minus 9 meters. Aperture size, that is A, is given to be 4 millimeters, or you can say 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 meters. Okay, so I am taking SI units. So it is asking the distance for which ray optics is a good approximation. So as you know, in ray optics the light ray travels in a straight line, so that means we have to tell that distance up to which a beam can travel a straight line, and that minimum distance is nothing but Fresnel distance. Okay, so you have derived an equation for Fresnel distance in your theory lectures, which is ZF is equals to A square by lambda, where ZF is the minimum distance traveled by a beam, which is straight line. A is the aperture, size of aperture, and lambda is wavelength. So you have values of A and lambda. Put the values of A and lambda and solve it. You will get the answer of Fresnel distance to be 40 meters. That means up to this distance the ray optics is a good approximation for an aperture size of 4 millimeters and wavelength of 400 nanometers. Next is question number 13. It says, you have learnt in the text how Huygens principle leads to the laws of reflection and refraction. Use the same principle to deduce directly that a point object placed in front of a plane mirror produces a virtual image whose distance from the mirror is equal to the distance of the object from the mirror. So let us suppose this is a mirror and P is a point object which is placed in front of the mirror at a distance x. Okay, so now as you know, due to a point object or due to a point source of light, we have spherical wavefronts. So for this also you will be having a spherical wavefront. So I have just drawn a spherical wavefront BC, which will be because see, for P this will be the wavefront. So I am taking a wavefront BC which has a radius of x as it is drawn from P. Okay, so BC is the incident wavefront on this mirror. Now we will be discussing two cases. One case when mirror is not there, and second case when the mirror is present there. So if the mirror is not there, clearly understand this. If the mirror is not there, this wavefront BC will be appearing as B double dash C double dash. Obviously, because if the mirror is not there, it will be traveling, and we are taking the distance to be x. Okay, so you can say if mirror is not there, the position of this wavefront BC would be B double dash C double dash, which is at a distance of 2x from P. Now, but if the mirror is there, so as you know, if the mirror is present, reflection will take place. So therefore, due to the reflection, this wavefront will appear as this wavefront, which is B dash C dash. So therefore, you can say that B dash C dash and B double dash C double dash are two spherical wavefronts on either side of this plane mirror, and the distance between them is 2x. So therefore, OP will be equal to OP dash, that is this distance will be equal to this distance, and that will be x. So you can say this is nothing but a virtual image of point P. Okay students, question number 8 is related to Bevester's angle, which is not in your syllabus, so cut it. And question number 15 is related to Doppler's effect, which is also not in your syllabus, so cut that question also. Okay. Okay, so next is question number 18. It says, two towers on the top of two hills are 40 meters apart. The line joining them passes 50 meters above the hill, halfway between the towers. What is the longest wavelength of radio waves which can be sent between the towers without appreciable diffraction effects? So in the question you are given, there are two hills. So these arrows are denoting two hills. which are at a distance of 40 kilometers. Now it is given a wire is going halfway between the towers and that wire is 50 meter above the hill. So this is the wire like this which is going in between these hills. So this distance will be 20 kilometer, as well this distance will be 20 kilometer, and it is above the hill by 50 meters. So this distance is 50 meters. Okay. Now the question is asking what is the longest wavelength of radio waves which can be passed between the towers without appreciable diffraction effect. That means we want that much distance up to which, or you can say we want that much wavelength up to which there is no diffraction. So again, if we talk about the distance, so you know Fresnel distance is that distance up to which there will be no diffraction. So we can say, and look here clearly, this 20 kilometer is our Fresnel distance because the separation between them is 20 kilometers and we want in this separation there is no diffraction. So we will be taking ZF to be 20 kilometers. That is the distance between a hill and a wire. And aperture size, that is this distance will be 50 meters. So this will serve as aperture size because this is the vertical distance between them. So now you have Z, you have A. Simply use the formula of Fresnel distance, that is ZF, that is 20 into 10 to the power 3 meters is equals to A square, that is 50 whole square upon lambda. So from here, when from this equation, when you will solve lambda, the answer will come to be 0.125 meters. So this wavelength can be passed and there will be no diffraction effects. Okay, so in question number 20, it is saying why a low flying aircraft, when a low flying aircraft passes overhead, we sometimes notice a slight shaking of the picture on our TV screen. Suggest a possible explanation for this. Okay, so what happens? See, when your aircraft flies at a lower altitude, so what will happen? When it flies at lower altitude, it reflects the TV signal. So there is a original TV signal which is coming and there is a reflected TV signal by that aircraft. So what happens? Due to the reflected signal and due to the direct signal, there is some interference between them, due to which we can see the shaking of the picture on the TV screen. So you can say due to interference between direct and reflected signal, we see a shaking on the TV screen.